we have too many people on the planet. So if you have more than 2 children, it's irresponsible. And if your parents have an electric can opener, that's irresponsible because they're using resources, limited resources of the planet. So this is the programming that's happening in 1968 in the public school system. It's like, wow. So the disabled culture. So remember, banality of evil. We don't even recognize it. It's so common, we don't recognize it. So what does that look like? The young couple gets pregnant today. They go in and see the doctor for the pregnancy test, and he says, congratulations, let's set up your appointment for your amniocentesis. And they're programmed to trust the white coat. Their only question is, does my insurance pay for it? And he says, yes, it does. Why? I'd already said earlier, the insurance companies are in on it. They're in bed with Center for Medicaid and Medicaid Services. Anyway, so they get the results of the amniocentesis, and the doctor says, we suspect your son has Down syndrome. I think you should have an abortion. And I'm going to explain why he says that here in a few slides. And the people perceive the Down syndrome person is going to be a burden on them. So they just go along with the white coat. They have no remorse, no guilt, no anything, because they don't have any roots, right? The most surprising player, I don't have this in a slide, but the most surprising player in this whole thing to me is the Christian church. The Christian church is telling lies from the pulpit. And we left the church that we were at because of that idea that the pastor didn't want me speaking out. He thought it's wrong to file a lawsuit. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And as I look back and I saw the bigger picture, I see the preaching of Romans 13 and 14 has been watered down. And Romans 13 is we need to obey the government, and Romans 14 is we all need to get along. Well, those are not biblical principles. Those are false teachings of Romans 13 and 14. All right.
And just on that, because it's kind of relevant, and I might have mentioned it before to you, but just for those that mightn't have heard it, there was a friend of mine here in Poland, and they were told that their child would be Down syndrome, and they were encouraging abortion, and they said they wanted to proceed, and the child actually wasn't Down syndrome. So you wonder how many times they're just doing that just for population control as well.
Well, that's I'm glad you asked, or glad you made that statement, because the other thing is that there's consequences of an amniocentesis by itself. So you have, they are literally all in on this. Some of them programmed, the entire programming in the system facilitates this banality of evil. Some of them actually believe this foolishness. They think they're doing society a favor by making these recommendations.